Welcome to this video recording on the Buy Classes, which is a part of B2B or business to business chapter. We will discuss briefly what is Buy Class, and we will delve a little bit deeper into the discussion of the different types of Buy Classes and what you as a marketer should know. So what is Buy Class? Buy Class refers to buying situations. Okay, so these are different buying situations for business to business customers, and they are differentiated in terms of four characteristics. One of them is newness, or in other words, how familiar or unfamiliar the product or service is to the buyer. The other characteristic, how many alternatives can and should be evaluated. The third characteristic, how much uncertainty is involved in the buying situation. And finally, how much information is required to make the buying decision. So these are broadly the characteristics. Absolutely no need to memorize that, but just something to understand, because based on these characteristics, we classify into different types of buy classes. So let's now discuss the different types of buy classes. In general, or very often you would find three buy classes: new class, modified rebuy, and straight rebuy. However, in the other slide, I'm going to show you slightly more complex buy classes where one additional dimension is added. Right, so new class, or new task, an item to be used to perform a new job or to solve a new problem. This may take longer, as may need to develop a product specification, supplier specification, right procedure, and so forth. The new task buy occurs typically when a B2B buyer buys a product or service for the first time. They never purchased this before for the organization. And hence, these buying situations would be the most difficult and most time-consuming situations, because typically the buyer has no previous experience whatsoever in regards of a product, service, and perhaps even the companies or the vendors that they're considering buying from. What it means, instead of relying on past purchase orders, the buyer has now to start from the beginning, from the scratch, and engage with a lot of research in terms of product specifications, find out which firms can supply the product, obtain all the relevant information regarding the product, the functioning, delivery, customer service, and so forth. For example, if a company, Whirlpool, designs a new microwave, the buyer will have to source new vendors to design an electronic control panel for this particular microwave. Now, the other buy class is called modified rebuy. This is when a new task purchase that is changed when it is reordered, or when the requirements associated with a straight rebuy purchase are modified. So, as I said, a new task purchase that is changed, okay? Or when it's reordered. For example, might seek faster delivery of particular products, or faster technology for processing foods, for example, or lower prices, or differentiated quality of a product, and so forth. In a modified rebuy situation, the buyer is really looking to purchase kind of like a similar product, if you like. But there are one or more significant differences in comparison with previous purchases, such as maybe new specifications or new supplier, and so forth. Basically, a new or different task we want the product to perform. This buying situation, modified rebuy, would typically involve more effort on the part of the buyer than straight rebuys, because we have to consider now product specifications, evaluate different suppliers or vendors, negotiate the contracts, do more research, and so forth. For example, you can think of a restaurant and they have changed the logo of the restaurant. So they need to kind of like change the menus, coffee cups, paper napkins, and so forth. So essentially the same product is being purchased as before: menus, coffee cups, and napkins, but the logo now has changed. So this might be the time when the buyers or a restaurant to look at the different suppliers who may offer maybe better pricing or better quality, and so forth, or even order from the previous one, but just make sure everything appears as you wish. A modified rebuy situation involves more effort than a straight rebuy situation because in this case the restaurant is likely going to need to research product specifications, evaluate suppliers, negotiate contracts, and so forth. And straight rebuy, as the name suggests, it's a routine repurchase of the same products under approximately the same terms of sales. For example, reordering, copying paper. Suppliers try to set up even automatic reordering systems. These are the simplest buying situations in B2B buying process, if you like. With a straight rebuy, the buyer is making a routine purchase of a standard product or products with no modifications from a familiar supplier. If you think of an example, you can think of Office Depot or another office supplier that the buyers likely purchased these products before, so the amount and effort involved in straight rebuy is really minimal beyond confirming that the order has been fulfilled, and that's it. So these were the three classical or typical buy class situations: new task, modified rebuy, and straight rebuy. And depending on the task, it will depend who is involved in the process, how much of information needed to be gathered, how much research needs to be done, and so forth. Some authors would actually classify that there are in fact 4 buy classes rather than 3. So on top of the already discussed 3 classes such as new task, modified rebuy, and straight rebuy, they would add additional one, system selling, or sometimes referred to a solution sale. So this would involve buying a completely brand new solution to a problem or a need rather than purchasing separate components from different vendors. So it's kind of like more extreme form of the new task. It's technically a new task if you like, however you're buying a complete solution. For example, you may buy a new customer relationship management software. Maybe previously you bought a software from one supplier, but some particular applications and parts of the software from different suppliers, and this time you are buying, say, from the Salesforce, the total solution. Or you may think of human resource management system. Maybe you may choose to purchase that system from one supplier rather than purchasing applicant and software from one vendor, then payroll software from another, compensation and benefits from still another vendor, maybe like pensions from another, and so forth. So you're kind of trying to pull it all together and purchase the whole brand new solution from one company. So as I said, this is more extreme form of the new task. Hopefully buy class classifications and explanations were useful. Thank you very much for watching. If you like the content, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thanks a lot.